What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Blitz Angle. Today, my name is Ryan Linklater. I'm here with Dan Loya. We are talking Week 5 predictions here on Blitz Sports Media. And Dan, let's just say we got a great start to the week between the 49ers and the Rams. What a game. All-time classic. McVay, Shanahan, always a good one. But let's start with the foreigner game, the Cleveland Browns versus the Minnesota Vikings. And I think this one we deserves a good talk this week because we didn't even talk about the Vikings and the Steelers because we all thought the Vikings were going to be able to handle the Steelers last week. Here we are, the Minnesota Vikings coming off a really bad loss against Pittsburgh. Cleveland switching to Dylan Gabriel at quarterback. What are you expecting to see in this matchup?
I think it should be another fun game going over the pond for this one. Another early start, early kickoff for all the people on the West Coast, like myself.
Yeah.
But the thing I'm just worried about with Minnesota is the injury report. I don't know if you saw it, but I mean they got a ton of key players on there right now, and that were they didn't practice these past 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday. So their left guard this game, they could be without their left guard, their center, and their right tackle, which would be a huge loss against this Cleveland Browns defense is pretty legit right now so far through 4 games. So I really want to see if the Browns could take advantage of that, and I think they will. They're one of the best teams in the NFL against the run, and I know Kevin O'Connell schemes a good game with the run game. Jordan Mason has looked solid so far, but, I wanna see, I wanna see if they play. If they don't, I think the Browns defense will take advantage, and, we got this rookie quarterback, Dylan Gabriel out of Oregon. I wanna see if they just provides a spark for this offense who Joe Flacco was accounted for. He's had 6 interceptions, 2 fumbles, just too many mistakes on the offensive side. Cleveland's decided to change, and let's see if, they can be able to score more points for this defense.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot closer of a game than people expect. The Browns are coming
Yeah.
in with one of the best run defenses in the NFL. And we know this Vikings offense needs a good ground game to get going. Carson Wentz did not look good last week against the Steelers, who are bottom 10 actually in the NFL in EPA on the defensive side of the ball. The Browns, one of the best units in the NFL in EPA per play in terms of rush defense, passing, they're around middle of the pack, but overall they're a top 10 unit this year. And they have absolutely blanketed tight ends this year. So it is going to be completely up to Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison to find ways to get open. And I mean, the Browns secondary is not bad either by any means. Denzel Ward mixed in there. So it's going to be a tough matchup for them offensively. Right now, I'm slightly leaning Vikings because they're just the better overall team. And you mentioned the
Yeah.
injuries. That does make me very concerned. But Quinshawn Judkins is a name to watch. He could completely take over this game and have a very good game against the Vikings rush defense that struggled last week against Kenneth Gainwell. So I think this Vikings defense might be a little bit overrated in terms of their run defense, but their pass defense is legit. Dylan Gabriel is going to have problems with that. If I were a betting man, and I am a betting man, I am betting the under, and I'm betting Quinshawn Judkins touchdown in this one. I think that's a good bet. That could win you some money this weekend. So right now, I'm going Vikings, but up to kickoff, I could change my pick, but slightly in Vikings, tough matchup. I think the Browns are going to be in an absolute dogfight in this matchup with the Vikings. Let's head to our next game. Your Las Vegas Raiders versus the Indianapolis Colts. We're both going Colts in this one. Is it official? The Las Vegas Raiders, is it time to panic?
Man, I wouldn't say it's time to panic, but, us Raiders fans aren't feeling good right now at the start. Geno's not taking care of the football right now, 7 interceptions. And the one thing I know is just a film study is, he's having trouble with zone coverage. 4 I believe it's 4 of his interceptions have come from cover 2, 1 interception cover 3. So he's having trouble just reading the zones, and, I also noticed, during the Bears game too, Kevin Byard was, like, running to the spots. He knew, just like we talked about, Sunday post-game reactions. I think, these defenses are starting to key in on, Chip Kelly's passing game, and I don't like it at all. So, with that, I think the Colts I think it should be a high-scoring game, but, I think the Colts offense is too high powered. They're first in EPA right now, and, I just think they're gonna put up a lot of points, and they're gonna come out, with a victory on, Sunday.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting for sure to kind of see how the Raiders respond after, Geno Smith, another rough performance last week. And, this is a veteran team. It's not like the Raiders are a young team. They got a lot of vets on both sides of the ball. Obviously, Ashton Gentry's the big prize, and I'm glad that he broke out last week because Gentry's a good player. He's going to be a good player for a long time. I am just worried about this Colts offensive line against a better Indianapolis Colts defense. That's not going to allow this run game to get going. It's going to put Geno Smith the ball in his hands and say, Geno, you got to go carry us to a win. I'm not sure if I
Yeah.
like those odds. I think the Colts played the Rams incredibly well last week. They should bounce back this week against the Raiders. So I'm rocking with the Colts in
Yeah.
this one.
No left tackle. The Raiders
No
will
Colton
be
Miller. Yes, no
without.
Colton Miller
Yeah.
is out. That could be a
Huge
big
loss.
one for them
Yeah.
as well. Let's get to the one of the bigger games of the week: Denver Broncos versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Here, Dan, we're split on this pick. Why are you going with the Denver Broncos?
'Cause I just think they're a good team, man. They're a solid team. We saw on Monday, they get after the passer, and I still don't believe in this, Philadelphia Eagles, passing offense. They're too simple, and, the Broncos should, have a great day on Sunday. I do worry that, like, Bo Nix, he's gotta take care of the football. Just if as long as he plays clean, he doesn't, like, give away just have, like, 1 or 2 turnovers. I think the Broncos should comfortably win this game. Uh, they like I said, Monday, they're starting to run the ball with Dobbins, and then they start getting RJ Harvey involved. So they should be able to move the ball against this Eagles defense, and they're first in the NFL in quarterback pressures on the other side. So they're going to get after Jalen Hurts, and I really like them this week.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see kind of how this game works and navigates itself out. I think that Bo Nix was, good last week, and I don't know if that good against against the Bengals last week, it really is gonna mask how he's performed this year. I mean, he was averaging 187 passing yards per game heading into that matchup, but he really struggled in terms of how he's produced against every other team. So I think that I'm a little bit concerned with him going against an Eagles defense that's very good. Let's get to the next game, Texans versus Broncos. Who you got?
Let's see. Oh yeah, I got Houston. I think Baltimore is really reeling right now. They're going to be without Lamar Jackson this game, and Texans still got to get it. Still have one of the better defenses in the league. They've been winning them games, and they're going to get after Baltimore, man. I do worry because Derrick Henry could exploit them on the ground, but yeah, I'm still a big believer in this Houston defense, and I think Houston's offense should have a little success too. I got to see this Baltimore injury report, but Baltimore hasn't looked good on defense. I believe they're 32nd or 31st. They've just been awful, and
They're one of the
Houston
worst
should be
teams
able.
in the NFL on defense, and
Yeah,
they got 7 injuries that they're gonna be having to manage.
exactly. So I think Houston should be able to move the ball on this team, and I think they're going to pull out victory. They're desperate, and they need a big win on the road, and this could be it. This could be the
Yeah,
spark.
I absolutely love Woody Marks bets in this matchup. Make
Yeah,
sure
that's
you
right.
target him.
Woody Marks. Yep.
Woody Marks is the guy you want to target in these. I know the Texans' offensive line is what it is, and they're going to struggle at times against the Ravens, even if they have backup pass rushers in. Like we saw last week against the Titans, right? Titans have a bad offense. They weren't able to move the ball much. It didn't put much pressure on the Texans' offense to get going right out of the gate. So I think with this matchup, and we're going to get Cooper Rush paired with Derrick Henry.
Cooper.
So it's like maybe we get a prime version of Derrick Henry who just destroyed the Texans for when he played for the Titans. But I think on the Texans side of things, you have to feel comfortable that this team can get to 24 points. And I think that's enough to win with that defense. I think, you know, with this offense, I still don't trust CJ Stroud. I still don't trust what, the offensive line has in front of him. But I do trust Woody Marks against a really bad run defense this week. A guy I like all of his over totals heading into this matchup. Well, Dolphins Panthers. Yeah, we can talk about Dolphin. We'll clump these two matchups together. Dolphins Panthers, Giants Saints. Two matchups that are full of bottom feeders this year heading into this week. Both of them should be close. We both have two
Yeah.
different teams in this matchup. Tell me why the Panthers and the Saints will pull it off.
Well, I don't think the Dolphins are that good of a team overall. They beat the Jets on Monday, and the Jets made them look like a solid NFL team. I think the Panthers should be able to move the ball at will against this Miami team. Bryce Young should have a day. They should be able to run the ball as well. So I went with Panthers. A big bounce back game after getting their butts kicked against New England on Sunday, and they're at home too. And also the Saints. I really believe in the Saints this week. They're favored as well. I think the Saints defense is a lot better than people realize. They have a lot of sacks on the year. They're like a top 10. They're tied top 10 with 11 sacks. Also, one key to the game is the Saints can run the ball. They're averaging 124 yards per game. They're on the year they have 14 explosive runs. So I really think they're going to be able to run the ball against this Giants defense, who's not very good against the run. And also, I know the Giants have pass rushers, but what Kellen Moore is doing is that he's getting the ball out of Spencer Rattler's hand really quick. His time to throw is 2.63 seconds, and even against like week one, Cardinals had great pass rushers, but they couldn't get after Rattler. He's quick, and they're getting rid of the ball too fast. And I think Kellen Moore is going to have a similar game plan against this Giants team. So I took the Saints to get their first win of the year.
Mm, spicy. I like it. I think, with both these guys, I'm going in the opposite direction. So I got Dolphins. I
Yeah,
think the Dolphins know how to do just enough offensively to put this team in a good position. And defensively, they did enough against, the Jets,
Jets. Yeah,
which was fine. Like they're not good. I'm not gonna say the Dolphins
yeah.
defense was
No, no, I
good.
agree. I agree.
They're not good, but they did enough. And with the Panthers offense, I never know what I'm gonna get from Bryce Young, and that concerns me. So it's like I know what I'm probably going to get from Tua and McDaniel. They're going to move the ball a little bit. They'll have some flash plays. Devon Achane has a great matchup against the dude. I can't talk the Panthers, but I think that without Tyreek Hill, they'll find different ways to get guys involved. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins. They've fought pretty well the past 2 weeks, and then on the Giants side of things, I absolutely love the Scatterboo and Jackson Dart matchup. They're going to run the ball 35 plus times this week against the Saints, where
Mm,
they've struggled this year stopping the run. And yeah, you mentioned the sacks part of it. Jackson Dart's going to be in a similar situation to where he could either improvise or get the ball out of his hands. I think
yeah,
I think the passing total of under 300 yards combined between these two quarterbacks is not crazy to think about. Like it could be a quick game. Both teams spend 7 minute drives, like chew clock, a lot of running. I think it's going to be a closer matchup just because um,
absolutely. Yeah,
and even though with the Giants, like coming off a big win, I think it's the Kellen Moore has done a good job with the Saints team. It's the least talented roster in the NFL. He has had his hands full with what they can do. So I like what Kellen Moore's done, but I'm also going to ride the hot hand of Jackson Dart, Cam Scattaboo, who just took down a really good Chargers team in that one. Let's talk about the game we glossed over for a second. Cowboys versus Jets. This is a great chance for the Cowboys to get back to 500 and potentially move closer to a wild card spot against a Jets team who is winless, but also has a great matchup against a bad Cowboys defense. What are you thinking in this one?
yeah. I still don't believe in the Jets offense. I think they're too simple. I mean, it's kind of reminding me of like an Army Navy game on Monday. They ran the ball way too much. Can they throw? Do they trust Justin Fields to throw? We all know Cowboys defense is pretty bad on both sides, running and passing. But do we think Justin Fields will be able to take advantage of it? I want to see it. So in this game, I went with Dallas. Dak Prescott is playing at such a high level right now. They're able to run the ball. They're really good at that too. And I want to be I want to see it to believe it. I mean, after the Jets are on a short week, they look bad. They looked undisciplined on Monday night in prime time, and I think the Cowboys are going to get a win here on the road.
Yeah, I absolutely love the Cowboys to get a win. I also love over totals in this game. I think Justin Fields is going to have a great game. I think Garrett Wilson's going to have a great game. I think Mason Taylor is going to have a great game. I think Brees Hall is going to have a great game. And then on Dallas' side of things, I think Dak's going to have a great game. I think George Pickens is going to have a great
Yeah,
game. I
high
think
scoring.
Jake Ferguson, like Javante Williams, like everybody is going to have a solid game in this one on both sides of it. I don't see a world where the Jets defense suddenly elevates their play to just shut out the Cowboys. And we saw the Cowboys
Yeah,
struggle against the Bears 2 weeks ago when it was a great matchup. But the Bears also looked pretty good against the Raiders last week, despite missing key players. So maybe the Bears
yeah,
defense is better than we give them credit for. But like I said, I think it's a good matchup for the Cowboys to get to 500. And hopefully, they can cash in on it heading into this matchup. Let's talk about two games we'll clump in together here: the
yeah.
Tennessee Titans versus the Arizona Cardinals, and then the Detroit Lions facing the Cincinnati Bengals. We both have the same team in here, Cardinals and Lions. Tell me which one of those two teams is a bigger chance of upsetting those two heavy favorites.
I really think the Titans have a chance. The Lions are going to steamroll the Bengals. The Bengals after Monday, Bengals short week too. Like, come on, and that spread's low too. So I don't know what's going on there. I mean, the Lions could put up what 40, 45, 50. I think it's a ridiculously low spread. But with Tennessee, man, Tennessee's got the Jeffrey Simmons. The Cardinals haven't been able to block well at all, and Jeffrey Simmons is gonna wreak havoc. So the Titans defense is kind of stingy, and the Cardinals are having trouble scoring the ball. They're without two starting running backs. I mean that backfield's gonna be a mess. So the Titans, we're gonna see if they're gonna play for their coach, man. Cam Ward said their team's ass, and we're gonna see how they respond this week on the road. So the Cardinals need to score because if they can't, I mean, they're still missing bodies on defense, and they could be on upset alert.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals probably yes, I agree with how you went with this. I think the Lions are gonna steamroll the Bengals. They have no chance
Yeah,
in that one. And then the Titans versus the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals, have the ability to allow teams to stay in the game. We saw it earlier in the
exactly. Yeah,
season when they had easier matchups and they allowed teams to stay in the game. It became a one-score game in the second half somehow. This offense does not put away teams, and now you're missing your top two running backs. I'm interested to see how they utilize them, and I think they'll have good games. But I mean, Kyler Murray doesn't have a great matchup through the air against the Titans' pass defense that's been around average. So they're going to have to rely on that running game to get this offense going. I think the Titans side of things, I mean, can they be much worse offensively? Probably not. As long as Brian Callahan's there, I can't trust them. So that's why I'm going Cardinals. But at some point, this Titans offense is going to score points. I mean, they have to. So
yeah.
um, I like both teams to win and cover. Titans definitely have a better chance. All right, let's get to the four last good games of the week. Bucks versus Seahawks. We both went Seahawks in this one. Are you concerned about the Bucks injuries, especially like you got Bucky Irving out now? Um,
Mhm.
and then on the Seahawks side of things, they've kind of been rolling as of late. One of the better defenses in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we got to talk about how the Seahawks played on Thursday night, so they had an extra few days of rest. Uh, yeah, I just think the Bucks are missing too many key people. I know Baker's on the injury report too, but this Seahawks team is legit. I really like their team. Pulling up their quarterback pressures right now. Yeah, they're currently they have 67 quarterback pressures on the year. They're really gonna get after whoever's quarterback Baker's gonna play. So they're gonna get after Baker. It's always tough to play in Seattle, and yeah, I just think Seattle's the better team right now. They're catching the Bucks at a good time. They're gonna pull out a win. I do think this won't be the last time we see these two teams. I think they're gonna match up in the playoffs.
Hmm. That would be a spicy matchup. I mean, the NFC West has been really good this season. The Seahawks defense is elite. I think there's no questions about that.
Yeah,
They finally have a pass rush to go along with their strong secondary. They have linebackers that can fit the run as well. Like this defense is really good. The Bucks last week, they seem to always play the same type of game. Whether who they're playing or, like whether it's the Eagles or whether it's, potentially like a Titans team, they're going to find a way for the game to be close. It's going to come down to the fourth quarter and it's going to come down to the last
yeah,
drive. I don't think that's a good formula for success. I think Clint Kubiak is going to have a good game plan against the Bucks, who we saw twice last season when he was with the Saints, and he's also on the defense side of the ball with Mike McDonald is like no Bucky Irving. That's a massive plus. They haven't been able to run the ball very well. Maybe this defense is able to get home against Baker and make some noise
yeah.
and potentially limit them to just being a one-dimensional offense if the Seahawks offense keeps them off the field. And I think that's the biggest thing is like the Seahawks offense can maintain 7-minute drives. And that's the biggest difference for me is that I think the Seahawks are just a better team right now than the Bucks, and
Absolutely.
they're going to be able to take care of business in this one. So I got the Seahawks in here. Let's talk about the Washington Commanders versus the Los Angeles Chargers. We have a split pick here. Who are you going with in this one?
I went with the Chargers for a bounce back game at home. Their defense is still pretty good, and I know Jaden Daniels is going to play. He's going to wear a brace on his knee.
Mm,
Uh, but nobody throughout this whole season, nobody's been able to throw on this Chargers defense. They're a lead on that side. Uh, and then offensively, flipping here. I know Herbert's missing. He's going to be missing Joe Alt. I believe he's going on injured reserve. It's a huge loss, but just like similar to the Raiders game, Dan Quinn. What kind of defense does he run? Cover three. Herbert just kills cover 3, and also Dan Quibb plays a lot of man to man too. So Ladd McConkey, Allen, and Quentin Johnson should have a big game through the air. I do worry about the Commanders have a very underrated front pass rush. So they could get after Herbert. So Herbert's going to have to probably use his legs a lot, and I believe he will. I think he'll be able to do that. He's really good under pressure. He's quick. So I'm taking the Chargers at home because Herbert's going to find the open man, and they'll be able to stop the Commanders on defense as well.
Yeah, I mean, I keep going back and forward. We talked about this like before we got on the show. I keep going back and forward. I think
It's gonna be a
the
close game.
biggest concern for me is that Chargers offensive line. Like that genuinely lost
Yeah.
them a game last week against the Giants. Is that
Hmm.
their offensive line never allowed this offense to get in a rhythm. The Washington Commanders pass rush is not necessarily the best in the NFL, but they're among average in terms
They're
of how they
yeah,
produce this year. Like, and I think that with the
they're
Commanders side of
sixth.
things, getting what were you gonna say?
They're sixth. They're tied sixth in the NFL in quarterback pressures with
Yeah,
64.
and
They
I
can really
like
get after it. They're underrated.
they'll probably regress towards like 12 to 15. Like I think somewhere in there. Like their talent among that unit's not great, but I think what I want to see from the Commanders and what we saw is like Marcus Mariota made this team competitive. Like the last 2 weeks, this team has played good football offensively. Now you get your star quarterback back and Jaden Daniels. And we know they struggled against the Packers, and the Chargers are a similar type defense to the Packers. I don't know. I have a gut feeling that the Jaden Daniels led Commanders are going to put up a good fight against a Chargers team that outside of week 1 hasn't really been that impressive and consistent on both sides of the ball. I think when we watched the Chargers in week 1, we watched the A plus version of the Chargers. Since week 1, Dan, they haven't necessarily been as dominant as they were against the Chiefs. And I think a lot of people are overrating the Chargers at this point. We saw last week against the Giants where they were exposed. They throw the ball 40 times a game, they run the ball 15 times a game. That's not how a Greg Roman team wins games. They need to be able to run the ball well to be effective consistently in the passing game because their EPA per play is dropping because of that. You have three great receivers, you don't have to air it out as much as they're doing right now. And the balance between that offense is what's going to keep that offensive line in check now with your two-star tackles out. So that is my biggest
Yeah.
concern with the Chargers long term. This game feels like a good matchup for them to get back on track, but I don't know how much of a good matchup it is. I think this Commanders team has been playing well the past few weeks and has been tough in matchups, but I'm going back and forward. Right now, I got the Commanders, but definitely a toss up for me in my head.
It's gonna be a great game. And
Two
then
more games
Jane
left.
Daniels, if he can run, that's gonna be a key factor too.
It is going to
If he
be a
can
key
scramble,
factor.
but we're gonna see. I don't know if he'd be able to, especially with that brace on. So it's gonna be great to watch. I'm excited.
It will be interesting. All right, Patriots at Bills. Everybody's going Bills in the blitz staff, even though the Patriots have played much better football this season. Dan, what are your thoughts heading into this matchup?
Well, yeah, I was waiting for our guy Brady here, a Patriots fan, to see if he was gonna pick the upset, but we all picked Buffalo, and I just think the Bills are rolling. They're putting up what over 30 points per game, and also I think that I've been trying to do a lot of research for this game. One thing, this is a large spread, and I don't know if you agree with the spread or not. But one thing I do find interesting is McDermott versus Josh McDaniels. I feel like McDermott's always have the edge against them. Like he just knows kind of his offenses, his tendencies. Most recently, the Raiders went there week 2 of the season and just got absolutely steamrolled. And we couldn't the Raiders couldn't do anything on offense. So I really think that's a little matchup that people should kind of key in on. We should do more research about because I really think there's something there. Also, this pass blocking unit for New England the games that they lost, they give up way too many pressures, and then Drake May's under duress. So they really need to step up this game against Bosa and the rest of that Buffalo Bills unit. So that's going to be the key to game. If the Patriots want to pull off the upset, they got to keep Drake May upright, and he's got to play clean football. He can't turn over the ball against this Bills team, who's going to take advantage with James Cook and Josh Allen right now.
Yeah, I think that with the Patriots, they're a little bit ahead of schedule. This is a tough matchup for them
Yeah,
in terms of their offense against the Bills' pass defense, but they should be able to run the ball effectively. And if they utilize Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson 30 times in this game, they have a chance, but they're probably not going to do that and that's where their downfall is going to be. This Buffalo defense is not that good. They're very
No,
easily
they're not. No.
exploitable. They've had an easy schedule to start the season, but they're still getting shredded by some middle tier teams. Now, Buffalo's offense, completely different story. You have Josh Allen and a great offensive line. James Cook has played well. Like that's a hard team to stop. The Patriots defense is going to have their hands full. Where it's makes me feel confident is that the Patriots run defense has been pretty good this year.
Yeah,
But
third right now.
yeah, but like
Rush yards per game.
Josh Allen's going to get his. Like they're going to
Yeah,
find a way to
exactly.
score points, and I think that
Yeah.
the Patriots might struggle in the passing game a little bit, but it'll be a closer matchup than I think the spread suggests. But this is another game where the Bills will continue to be undefeated, but might not be as good as their record says. I think there are some
And then
long-term concerns in that Buffalo defense.
another key injury too to watch is Milton Williams, the
Yeah.
Patriots defensive lineman. That'd be a huge loss if he's unable to play. So that's something to look keep an eye on before the game.
Yeah, 100%. All right, last matchup of the week, and we're split on this one. Chiefs and Jaguars. Dan, why are you going with the Jags?
Uh, just like the guy said, Duval. Hey,
That's
I
it?
think
That's all
I
that's it?
that's it. That's it. Time to end the stream. No, man, I think this is the game that first off, the Chiefs offense before last week, uh they weren't clicking. They weren't clicking. They faced the Ravens team that's currently reeling right now. They can't stop anybody on defense, and they finally put something together. So now we all think they're a great team. They're gonna go undefeated the rest of the year. Blah blah blah. This Jaguars team is underrated by the national media right now. They're first in turnovers with 13. They lead the NFL with 9 interceptions. They're fifth in points per game, only giving up 18.5. Uh, the Chiefs will be able to move the ball, but if Mahomes or anybody makes a mistake, this team's going to capitalize. They're a solid unit under their new defensive coordinator Campanelli. So and they got great pass rushers too, who should put Mahomes under pressure all night. So I really want to keep an eye on this defense on Monday. On the flip side, Jaguars offense. I know Trevor Lawrence is kind of shaky right now, and he's got to play a clean game if they want to pull up the upset. But the one thing I'm keying in on is Travis Etienne is awesome right now. He leads the NFL running backs in yards per carry. He's third in the NFL in yards. He's fourth in rush yards over expected. What's the one key for defending Patrick Mahomes, Ryan? Do you know what that is? The one thing
You're
I've
gonna
always
say
noticed.
running the ball and keeping the ball out of his hands.
Yeah, it's just keeping him off the field. That's the best way to stop Patrick Mahomes. The Jaguars have the perfect recipe. If they control the clock, just run the ball. The Chiefs are giving up 127 yards per game on the ground. They have allowed 15 explosive runs this season. The Jaguars are going to be able to run the ball against this unit, and if they control the clock, this is what I want them to do on Monday. They win the toss. I want them to take the ball, receive it, and set the tone, and just keep the ball for like 7 minutes, drive down the field, and just set the tone. If they do that, and I think they're going to be able to run the ball all game. So I think this is how they pull out the victory. This is the game that's going to be like put the Jaguars on the map. People are going to be talking about Liam
Mm.
Cohen as coach of the year, after week 5, all that good stuff. NFL Network, all that fun stuff.
Oh,
I think this is the
you got
game.
this thing
This is
planned
it.
out.
This is it. I don't know. I see it. I visualize it. Like
I
Conor
I
McGregor. I
see
see
I
it.
see your
But what do you I
visualizations.
wanna I wanna I wanna hear your take. Let's see what you
Yeah, so this is where I'm gonna go in the complete opposite direction of you. Is
Yeah.
right. You mentioned the Ravens defense being one of the worst units in the
Yeah.
NFL. Sure, they have struggled, but the Chiefs were not they didn't even get stopped the entire game in that matchup. And while they also added a real wide receiver back in Xavier Worthy that
Yeah.
changes a lot for this offense. I think that's clear. The second thing is Brashard Smith is going to play more this week. There's an actual running back who can make a guy miss in space. That is a big difference for this offense. So all those three are three massive different changes that through the first 3 weeks weren't there for this team. It makes things different. And you could tell after the second half of the Giants game that this offense was playing at a different level than they did to start the season. So I am buying into that. I think that the Ravens defense is not good right now, but even with Marlon Humphrey out there, Roquan Smith out there, their whole defense was healthy for the first half of that game against the Ravens, and then they are all out the second half. the Chiefs were shredding that defense, and they got even worse in the second half. And then the Chiefs scored touchdowns on every drive. So, yes,
Yeah.
they played a bad opponent, but good teams take advantage of bad opponents and throw for 4 touchdowns and 300 yards. So, that one, I think Xavier Worthy back changes this offense. And in terms of the Jaguars defense, you know where they struggle the most? The passing game. And their pass defense is one of the bottom 10, I believe, units in the NFL in yards per game. A lot of the Chiefs are going to throw the ball a lot, and they're going to have to find ways to get guys open in space. And I expect a heavy usage of RPOs. I expect deep shots to Xavier Worthy, Tyquan Thornton in that matchup. But I mean, despite that, they got to get the ground game going to be successful.
Yeah.
On the other side of things, though, you talk about the running game, and I think Liam Cohen's done a great job, and he's a great coach in terms of scheming up run plays. Travis Etienne looks like a new player, all this and all that. The Chiefs are going to say Travis Etienne is not going to beat us. And when they say a
Oh,
player is not going to beat them, they typically do a good job of doing it, right? Lamar Jackson through the air was not going to beat them last week. They have a great plan for him. In week one, it was Amarian Hampton or Najee Harris was not going to beat us, and they held them to a limited amount of yards per carry. In week two, it was Saquon Barkley who struggled for a majority of that game outside of, I think it was he had 2 10-yard runs. And besides that, the Chiefs did a very good job of handling him. And then in week three, it was we are not going to let the deep ball beat us against Russell Wilson. When the Chiefs say they want to negate something, they typically do a good job of taking that out. And that's why Spags is one of the best coaches on the defense side of the ball of all time. This week, it's going to be Travis Etienne can't beat us. Let's see if the struggling pass offense of the Jacksonville Jaguars can beat our pass defense, which has been really good since week one. And I think Travis Etienne has a great matchup on paper right now. I'm
yeah.
taking the unders on him. I think that the Chiefs are going to put 5 players on the defensive line a decent amount of times, or 4 players, and they're going to find a way to stop this run game because that's what the Chiefs do well on the defensive side of the ball. And this is the lowest points allowed on the defensive side of the ball since 2023. They're going to find a way to neutralize what an offense does best. And then it's going to be up to Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, those type of guys in the Jaguars passing game to beat a secondary that honestly, Noel Williams needs some credit. I mean, the Chiefs might have found another gem at quarterback in Noel Williams, who has absolutely blanketed receivers the last 3 weeks. And you already have Trent McDuffie in there. So, I mean, that's where I think the matchup changes for a lot of people is that the Chiefs find a way to limit the best thing that an offense does. And Travis Etienne, if he can't get going, it's all on Trevor Lawrence, who has been shaky to say best at this year. And I do think the Jags defense is good. But I think this is a tough matchup for the Jaguars, who have had an easier schedule to open the season. And felt like the 49ers kind of gave it away last week against them.
Yeah, they definitely did, and yeah, it's a big game for Trevor Lawrence. It could
This
be
is
his
a
5th game.
massive game, it feels like, for the Jaguars.
Yeah, it is, just yeah, Trevor Lawrence is still you can kinda see he's not really comfortable right now in the offense, and, I mean, the past 2 weeks, he faced tough defenses, Houston and San Francisco. So let's see, that's gonna be a key point if, the Chiefs take away Travis Etienne, Trevor Lawrence is gonna have to have a huge game, but he's got great receivers to do it. He's got 2 guys out wide that,
Let's hope
that
they
can
don't
do it,
drop the
so
ball.
yeah. Yeah, and he's gotta play clean football. He can't be giving the ball away. He's got 4 interceptions this season, so he's gotta play clean
I
football
will
to
say, though, a rare thing from the
keep his
Chiefs
team.
defense is they have been very turnover opportunistic the last 2 weeks here, and they've been able to give their offense good field position because of that. So, rare change by the Chiefs defense there.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right. Well,
+3, I
guys,
see
what were you
+3
going to say?
turnover differential. The Chiefs are +3 in, turnover differential right now.
Dang.
6th in the NFL.
Dang. That feels like a rare change for this team for over the past few years.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's gonna be a fun game on Monday. I'm excited.
should be.
It's
Hopefully, the
coming.
rain doesn't ruin the matchup. All
Yeah.
right, guys. Really appreciate you guys tuning in to our week 5 preview here on the Blitz Angle. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more podcast content around every single game through the 2025 season. We will catch you guys next time here on the Blitz Angle.